this is Tasha. I am Tasha. I hope that this is working and that you can see everything clearly. Of course, I'll need to edit the video from all my little hiccups. But I wanted to share on the Mind Your Money today, my annual expense tracker that I created in March of this year, well, the end of March of 2020. So I wanted to get a good look at how are our expenses would fare out for the entire year. So I created this as a simple way to track everything. And of course, what our incomes are for the entire year. So every month of the calendar year. And then I created a second sheet within it to just track the income. So our income is broken down by the month. Of course, I have a, this is a copy of the one that I am selling on my Etsy shop and my website. But I do have my actual, this is, hold on. You won't be able to see it. Oh no. Okay, so this is the one for, just, this is a template, if you want to call it that. So I have the expenses that are listed for the entire year. I have, locked the top row so that however far you scroll down, you'll still be able to know which month you're working in. Of course, our expenses differ from person to person. My expenses look very similar to this. Tithe and offering is a personal decision. So of course, if that's not something you do or like to do, you can always change this to giving or just create a new title or new line item for that expense and, fill in your numbers as needed. So this is automatically set up where the formulas will calculate the total amount of expenses for each month. And if you wanted to calculate for the expenses for the entire year, let me know because I can add that in here. But this line calculates the expenses for each month. And I'm drinking some lemon, ginger, garlic tea to help my throat, and also because it's 6 o'clock in the morning when I'm recording this. So I need to help my throat a little bit and build up my immune system and get rid of inflammation, all that good stuff. That's why the garlic and the ginger is in there along with the lemon. So moving forward, starting from the bottom up, the expenses I have start with our sinking funds. These are my, envelopes. These are the names of my digital envelopes. They're not actual cash envelopes. And if you do use cash envelopes, that's perfectly fine. Everyone has their own preference, which is fine. But I prefer to keep mine in savings accounts. So that's why I call them digital. And I have a little menu here that details what those envelopes are. Of course, you can change them. So for the tutorial purposes, I guess you can call it tutorial. I changed the names to groceries, house repairs, household. Mine are called spending, miscellaneous, and household. So you can change that here if you need to. If you wanted to change that to groceries, you could. If you wanted to change it to beauty or whatever have you, you could do that. And no matter how many new line items you create, if you just right click on the number of the row and then you hit insert, you can insert a new line and you can change it to whatever you want. So if this is a new line item, and let's say you're starting in July or August, because we're going into August, that line item may be $350. You can insert that, type in the amount that you know you're expected to spend on that line item, and it will automatically calculate the total for you for that month. right? So you can format this to your liking. And if you see, the number did change because I deleted that row. So you can change the name of the line item or the cash envelope, and you can also change them here. If this is just, I did this for me so I can know what because my cash envelopes may change going forward, and not just my cash envelopes, but also my sinking funds. So my sinking funds right now, personally, are Christmas, clothing, vehicle, and medical. But you can change that, as I did here, to anniversary, or maybe you're you want to change this. Maybe you have a sinking fund for, let's say, your car registration. You can change it. It's not set in stone. This is editable. You can edit it. So going back to our expenses, we have IRA investments. Of course, if you're not doing that, you can change those, or you can bring them up higher. It's up to you. Sinking funds, we just went over what the sinking funds are, and you can add or decrease depending on how many you want to track. Our general savings is basically everything that is usable. So we track how much we want to save each month. And the general savings could be a savings challenge you have for the year. Maybe you're doing the 52-week challenge, so you can name that something else, whatever, just helps you, because personal finance is personal. So you can edit the names as it fits for you. Also internet. Now Netflix, we Netflix last week, but that is something where, it still can be listed here if you plan on using it again, or if you have different subscriptions like Canva, and how much you're going to be paying for that. These might not be actual numbers. I just put in something just for instructional purposes. But if you have more subscriptions that you want to fit in, again, you just right click on the number of the row, and then you hit insert, and you can type in your new line item and the amounts that the cost of the expense, or the amount of the expense. And then we get into like our loans and credit cards. We have student loan or student loans. It should probably be plural. Credit card 1, credit card 2. If you have more credit cards, of course, you can always insert more, but we have 2 credit cards. Easy Pass, which is the toll in our city. We use that to pay tolls going in and out of outside of the city where we live in. You can delete this or change it or give it a name that's more comfortable for you. Our gas, fuel, renter's insurance, that can also be any property insurance that you have, whether if you own a home, of course, homeowner's insurance, or taxes if you need to track those as well. Mobile phone, life insurance, Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime is always at the top for me because we use it very frequently. So we do use every benefit we can get from that $15 a month. So I keep that at the top. But if you want to keep all of your subscriptions together, you could always move it to a new place if that's what you want to do. You can just insert a new line item and then type in Amazon Prime around the same area where your other subscriptions are. But we kind of rank this a little high in our house because we use it for streaming and the free shipping benefit, all of that. Car insurance is next. Utilities, we pay for heat/gas, which is a utility we are required to pay. Electricity, of course, then food, then rent/mortgage, and our giving, our tithing and offering at the top. So that's all of the expenses that I have on the list, but again, it's not an exhaustive list, or maybe it's more than what you have. You can always reduce this if necessary. And then again, all of the numbers here are just for informational purposes. You can change that to whatever you need it to be, right? It's changeable. What is important is, again, that at the very bottom row, the end of each month, your total expenses are calculated. And now moving on to the income. Income is set up the same way for each month. You can always insert or unhide or whatever you need to here to type in what type of income you have. So I would type income here, and then you could have income 1, income 2, and this could be extra income, whatever have you, or side hustle, you know, whatever that is. Could be your Etsy, could be your book sales, could be whatever the name of your business is, you could put there. And then you basically type in what your income is expected for each month. Let's say we're looking at August. August, we are expecting an income of $4,000 from one of us and $2,500 from the second person, and approximately $950 in extra or side hustle income. So you could fill in these numbers as, you know, as they relate to you. And then here at the bottom, the totals are, let me just come out. I need to see how I did this on the Blair budget. Okay, total and remaining. Okay, so total. This is the total income, right, for the month. And this is what's remaining. Line 8 is what is remaining. So this is, the formulas are already set up to subtract the expenses from the income. So if you see here, C7 is the total income for January. And then it's subtracting from the total income on the expenses sheet here. So it's going to subtract this for you. So you don't need to correct or add any formula. You just need to type in what your income is, and it will calculate for you and tell you how much is remaining. Now I work with a zero-based budget. So every dollar must have an assignment. So if this is my estimate for the month, I want to make sure every dollar gets an assignment. So when I go to my paper budget, I may end up saying, okay, this is how much I expected to have left over before I finalize it, and I'm going to give these dollars an assignment. I may throw that extra money towards debt, or maybe towards savings or investing. It's really up to you, but it's a good idea to see what you're working with and what you'll have left over, so you know how to pivot or how to, you know, manage the money at the end of the month. So really simple. To the right here, I have set up a little box to calculate the total combined income for the year, total variable income for the year, and that's all of your extra that, you know, is not really consistent, but it's variable. And then I also calculated the tithe based on how much we are, basically the sum of each month multiplied by 10%. So you can use this or you can delete it. It's not, you know, a requirement, but this is how I use the annual tracker. So these are deletable. It is a personal decision. You may change or delete the tithing section from the expenses and the annual tracker on the right. Then there's the paycheck budget. This is my favorite because this is what helps us stay in line with our monthly goals for all of our expenses and savings challenges, savings goals. So income 1, 2, and 3 is here. You can change these and title them to whatever you wish. And then we track our paychecks with the exact dollar amount after taxes. So our net income is tracked here every week. Of course, if it's a golden month, you'll have a 5th Friday or a 5th paycheck possibly, or if you get paid bi-weekly, you'll probably have 3 paychecks. But I just labeled it week 1 through week 5. You can label it pay 1 or paycheck 1 or however you feel comfortable. But this, again, all of the formulas are at the bottom to total the amounts that you get for each paycheck or each pay period throughout the month. And then at the very end, in line G6, you'll see that it will total the entire income you've received for the whole month. So this breaks this line, this G column will calculate the total income for each person or per income title. And then at the very bottom, it will calculate the entire month. So you'll see how much you have made for this month. And I use this as a tracker. I'm beginning May 1st, ending May 31st, or you're beginning August 1st and ending August 31st. And you can type in a little history if you want to keep a note. So you can insert a note, or you can just simply type out, let's say May income. And let's say May income was $16.25. Let's hope it's more than $16.25, but just for that, you can say May income was this. And then you can track the same way if you want to do that. You can, track and say, well, this is what June income was. And you can do that if you need to. So those are, this is the annual budget tracker. I hope that I'm making sense here. I didn't move too fast. I'll do a quick recap. The first sheet is our expenses. And of course, this is customizable. You can also double click if you need to change the year, or if you want to change the title, it's up to you. But these are the expenses for 2020, and they're calculated from January through December. This is a menu here that lists the name of your sinking funds. You can use this, or you can delete it, or you can change it. Again, it's customizable. As you input your expense amounts for each month throughout the year, the bottom row, line 29, will calculate for each month. Then also to the farther right, you have a, not going over, there it is. You have a breakdown here. So it'll show you the percentage that each line item contributes to your entire budget. So mine here for the example is 23% of the budget goes to rent, and so on and so forth. You can change the style of this if you'd like, but this is, or you can delete it, but this will give you an idea of how much, where your expenses are going, and they'll divide it up by percentage. Then also there's income. The income sheet lists all of your income throughout the year. Again, all you need to do is type in your numbers, and it will calculate the total, and it will subtract from the expenses you have on sheet 1 and give you the remaining balance right here at the bottom. And of course, this is the annual tracker. Will tell you how much money you've made so far for the year, and how much your variable income was, and your tithe if you use that. Again, that's a personal decision. You can delete that if necessary. Then the third sheet is the paycheck budget, which we track income week by week. So if the first week your income was $750 for income 1, and then maybe that's consistent, so every week you receive $750. Income 2 might also be consistent at $625, but then you have like extra income that fluctuates. One week it may be $500, the next week it might be $1,000. Last week it might be $250. As long as you type in what your income is, you'll see the totals come automatically calculate at the bottom. And then of course at the far right in column G, it'll calculate the total income for the entire month. And you can, change the dates as you go forward in doing this. So that is the budget tracker. I hope that you guys found that helpful. And if you want, this is available on my Etsy shop. I will link in the description box. It is also available on my website. So I'll link my website down below. I think it should be linked in the description box as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for liking and subscribing to my channel. I appreciate all of the comments. I appreciate all of the feedback. Any feedback you have about this annual tracker would be greatly appreciated. Remember to mind your money, manage it well so you can live life to the fullest. Bye-bye, guys.